Hi guys, my name's Subtutor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain and welcome back. Now today I wanted to talk about social media again. Why? Because this is an idea that I wrote down ages ago and it's like just I've gotten to it through my kind of video ideas list and I was like, you know what, I actually want to do that video today. The thing is, also, like last week or the week before, by the time this video is going up, I think it'll be the week before. Um, there was an episode on Wisecrack basically talking about this. In like I think it was the philosophy of one of their South Park episode kind of analyses. But as a result, I still wanted to come and talk about this because it stands out, and I wanted to talk about it without the South Park kind of context over the top of it. And the idea is that social media is a very trapping thing. It's very much like a prison, and it's been likened to the panopticon, where it was which was the idea for a prison where you would have a well, kind of in fact like the prison in Guardians of the Galaxy, where you would have all the cells around the outside, and then you'd have one tower in the middle that would see everything. And so, if there was a light on in there, the inmates can't necessarily tell if there's actually someone up there watching or not, and so the tower becomes as God, where it's always just silently observing. And as a result, the religious analogy is that if with religions kind of coming forward and saying that God is always watching, you always have to be behaved, you always have to follow their commands and commandments and things like that, then you're always going to force yourself into show how virtuous you are. And this is where now in things like on things like social media and so on, we're seeing people put up always virtue signaling for whatever it is that they believe in, making more and more noise about it, everything becoming politicized, and the fact that you're always looking at social media and seeing other people's lives and judging yourself based on it. It always kind of funnels you into a direction, as if you've been penned in and you're being just marched along towards whichever holding cell you're moving towards, with all those other people, all of them taking selfies or pictures of their food and sticking them up in various places as they go. And again, this also reminds me of a Black Mirror episode. This is a problem. The one where you had, oh Christ, what was her name? The actress who was also in Jurassic World, where you had a world that was entirely built around social media, and it's one of those things. People nowadays are treating social media as this very very powerful thing, when again it doesn't have to be, if you take it in proportion, in kind of perspective, and proportionally, sorry, in moderation. But we talked about that before. I'll leave a link to that video down in the description there. But in regards to the rest of what's going on, the way we pen ourselves in, the way that we attach ourselves to things, and the way that we have to always, because we always feel like we're being watched nowadays through social media, even though we're the ones that are we're the ones letting people watch us. I'm not too afraid of being watched because I got nothing to hide, and so as a result, that's where I'm putting just these videos up. I'm talking through what I know, what I can break down from things, the things that I understand, the things that I'm interested in, the things that help me get through the day. And so I'm bringing them to you guys because that's what I want to do in life, and that's what I want to bring to as many people as possible. Because if I can even help only a couple of you guys, that's the point. But in regards to someone who's just showing off their life because that's what they feel is expected of them, the person who always shows off everything, always seems to have this amazing life, always seems to have kind of everything that they could want, hashtag blessed and all that shit. It's those people who will throw all of that stuff up all the time, always have to show what they're doing, how they're doing it, how amazing their life is, how they're completely grateful for everything, how miserable they are, how appalling people are, how badly they've been treated, how they're horribly oppressed, or how they're amazingly lucky, or all of these things in all these different directions. All they do is pen people in, because no one's two-dimensional like that. No one is purely blessed or purely cursed. It all comes down to the to and fro. It's a nuanced situation. That's what life is. It's all good and bad, and taking it all together and allowing yourself to work through it. and putting that up in front of people continuously will always end up having you slant one way or the other, even if no one's judging you for it, even if no one is seeing what you are putting up, even if no one cares, even if people are there to support you. You're still going to have this slant because you think a certain way. And because you think a certain way, you think other people think similarly to you. It's that whole, when I ask someone when I'm coaching them, like, where did the idea come from? What is it that made you think that way? And a lot of times it's values and beliefs and things that have been drilled into them by other people from their past, from things that they've experienced, and then they have used that as a catch-all rule for the rest of their life. And if you're bullied in school, and then in your mind that's made you assume that everybody is out to get you because you're just this type of person, then you're not going to trust anyone. You're going to find it really hard to work with people. And then if you're continuing to reinforce that by basically talking to yourself on social media, then you're not just reinforcing it to yourself, but also every time you're reinforcing it to yourself, you can look down and see how many other people are behind you on it. And especially if it's some kind of sob story or if it's some kind of amazing thing, then people are probably going to get behind that. They're going to drop likes and little reactions, comments, things like that all the way along. And so that's going to provide you reinforcement for you just going deeper and deeper into your own prison cell. Locking the gate, closing yourself in, hiding under the bed and staying there. Imprisoned, locked away. Unable to move outside of that box, that comfort zone, that safe space where you're not really safe, you're locked in, but you are completely complicit in putting yourself there. You're your own judge and jury, you're your own prison guard. And the way that you continue to keep yourself in that cell is by posting all of these overshared elements of your life and throwing them out before everybody else. And even if, regardless of what those people actually think, you are assuming what they think. And as a result, that is your brain being your own jury and deciding that your sentence in your little prison cell needs to be elongated. This is where I feel that social media, as much as it is a valuable and incredibly powerful thing, falls down. Because you have the elements of social media that allow so much freedom, but because of the way that they are used and because of the way that people work with them, and because of the fact that there are an awful lot of people who don't understand themselves, it kind of breaks down, and it leads to the kind of creation of some of these movements that are all just about reinforcement, about locking themselves away. The individuals who are arguing for political correctness and identity politics, but then are also arguing for renewed efforts towards segregation, a thing that it is historically directly counter to everything else that they are saying. The individuals who are very pro-gun, for instance, who in the light of recent events have continued to shout as loud as possible to espouse for freedom of guns, of access to guns throughout the United States. Not because they necessarily really feel that to the same extent that they're kind of sermonizing about it, but they're putting that out there because there's an outcry from the other people who have supported them putting themselves into that box. And as a result, it's like wolves howling in the dark. One goes up and then the others have to do the same because they are letting each other know where they are, what they're doing, and in this case, it's letting everyone else in all of the other cells adjacent to yours know that you're still there too. It's keeping everyone in prison, it's keeping everyone locked away, and the only real reinforcement that you get from other people outside of it is them letting you know that they are still there in their prison cells too. So again, the question that comes out of this is, well, what's better? All of us being together in prison, locked away, suppressed and oppressed by ourselves, or having the freedom to maneuver and explore and see life for all it has, not having to worry this omniscient, kind of omnipresent judge, which is actually just a slightly slanted and different version of ourselves that we have projected onto social media and the people that we interact through it. Now, as said, I'm stubborn. I have a very even perspective on things, and I have beaten myself into shape in regards to actually making sure that I maintain that. And so as a result, when I come to you guys, the way I'm talking to you is very much the same way that I would talk to pretty much anyone else if you met me in person. The way that I will get angry over things, rarely, but it happens, or the way that I will I will find certain things funny that just probably aren't all that funny. You know, the way that I am able to present information to you, or that I want to discuss things with you, is very similar and very much the same way as I would approach anyone else. And I will maybe disagree with you, maybe very, very violently disagree with you, maybe try and pull you over to my side by trying to present fact, or trying to kind of encourage empathy between us so that we can reach some kind of middle ground, or just so that I can convince you more softly. You know, any of those things I will try and do, but this is also why I don't post everything to social media. I'm not going to post every moment of my life, every meal that I have, all of the things that I am happy for and that I am not happy for. I'm not going to put all of those on social media. Why? Well, the simple fact of it is that if I don't keep anything for myself, then all you guys are getting, you guys, if you guys are getting literally everything, then when I meet you, or when I'm interacting with people, when I'm doing things, then nothing's new. Nothing's a surprise, nothing special. Firstly, that's where my mind sits a lot of the time, but also because then it lets me have freedom. Because I don't want to be locked in some jail cell, having to be stuck with my own thoughts continuously. I don't want to have to reinforce one idea or remove myself from another when potentially at different times they will both have equal value. What I'm more interested in is just exploring. I want to see things. And so as a result of wanting to see things, I'm not going to post everything of myself to social media to reinforce all of the negatives that are coming out of that for me. We are all our own worst enemy. We are all our own worst critics. In some cases, maybe not. There are a few narcissists out there that will only ever big themselves up. But for the most part, we are all our own critics, all our own judges and juries. And social media, as much as it is a great communication tool, I'm using it right now to talk to you guys, and I'm so glad that it is a thing that I can do. It's such a valuable thing, it's such a useful thing. But at the same time, you know, it was really hard when I first started doing this over a year ago now, purely because I'm sat in a room talking to myself. I don't really want to be sat in a room talking to myself. I want to be out there talking with you. I want to be interacting with you through social media. But that's where, if I can put this information out there to help people, and if I can put these things out there that allow me reflection on myself, more so than just streamlining my already held perceptions, then that's useful. For the conversations that I've had in the comments, for the emails I've received, for some of the other messages I've received on other things like Facebook or Twitter, you know, that's great. That's why I'm here. That's what I want to do these videos for. You know, especially the ones where people have suggested that I've helped them. You know, that means the world to me. And so, you know, with this social media kind of outpouring these days, especially when we're seeing people complaining about things that should be really and truly legal matters, or matters for the authorities that aren't being addressed by those authorities because they are only being reported to our echo chambers, to our lines for the for filing into prison cells. You know, those, because that's the only place that these pieces of information are being put forward and published. It's not achieving anything. It's just this continual cycle of letting yourself out of the prison cell to send your message into a quite completely silent space that then only allows you to see like your own thoughts reinforced, and then you just step back into your prison cell and lock the door because you've just given yourself over to this system, giving yourself over to your perceptions of it. So what's the takeaway from this? Well, the takeaway again is moderation. Decide what you want to use social media for. It's still a new thing. It's still a powerful thing. And so, you know, that it can have impact both on you individually by yourself and on an awful lot of people. But as a result, choose what you're using it for. Choose what you want it for. And then choose very specifically how you want to communicate through it. I chose video more than anything else because I felt that it would be a very easy way to directly interact with you guys. You know, where you could see me as a genuine person having a conversation with you, or at the very least putting some information across to you that I want to hear back from you on. I'm not going to start posting all of my life though, and for the especially the young people who share every element of their day to day, they basically live tweet their lives. For those people, I would say choose what you want to do with it. Shake some of the perceptions of I need to post these things, and then judging yourself based on whether or not you've had a certain number of likes or dislikes or comments or what people have said. You know, choose what you want to do with it, and then proceed in that direction. Choose a path to follow and explore. Don't put yourself into a cell and lock the door behind you. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you guys think. As said, you know, I've got my opinions on social media. There's a reason why I'm much happier using things like YouTube and Facebook rather than Twitter, as much as my videos get posted there every morning as well. But it's like, you know, all of you guys are using social media right now to watch this video, in which case, you know, I'd love to hear what you guys have to think, what you guys want to use social media for, or whether or not you've actually seen the darker side of it, where you found yourself slipping down that rabbit hole, getting locked away by your own thoughts being reflected back on you from an invisible version of yourself behind every Facebook message, every post on Twitter, you know, every Instagram picture. But yeah, please, I'd love to hear what you guys have experienced, what you guys have to say, what your thoughts are. You know, maybe you'll convince me that it's not quite as bad. Maybe I've convinced you that actually it's more imprisoning than it would seem from the outset, with all the cute little logos and images that you've got sat on your phone's home screen. But anyway, guys, love to hear what you have to say, what you're thinking about it. But otherwise, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.